Hello and welcome to their first impressions video brought to you by MMO Play. Here we're taking a look at an upcoming MMO called Black Gold. This game is currently in closed beta, and we're going to look at basically some of the gameplay and getting started. I'm setting the settings to really high because I want to see how the world looks and just look at the game. There are two races, or two factions, each with two races, and then there appears to be 9 classes. I'm going to go with the caster style, so Pyromancer, and then each of the races has a couple of passive abilities and a couple of other abilities. I'm not going to look too much in detail, but I did go ahead and figure out that, click it, this race right here seemed to be a little bit more forgiving or a little bit more interesting for a PvP focused character, or a damage focused character. You can see right there, I changed to Pyromancer. You can see the male and female characters. These are basic portraits. There is some customization, which we're going to look at right now. Now that I've picked my race class combination, I'm going to go through and just look at some of the very basics. So you can start with a preset. There's a lot of presets. I'm just picking one that I kind of like, and then from there I can go and edit him. And you can see now I can change features, hairstyle, beard, hair color, face, and then you can change your body. So there are actually a pretty good number of different options available here. If you want to customize your character, you can spend a decent amount of time doing that, getting the way you want to look. Now for the gameplay itself, it's going to look familiar to a lot of games. It uses tab targeting, WASD movement, camera panning, and quick bind its spells and abilities. So if you're familiar with pretty much any MMO after, well, 2004, you'll probably feel pretty at home here. There is a couple of action-oriented quirks to the game. You can double tap to dodge, so similar to Guild Wars. It is a free-to-play with plenty of options for, looks like, future microtransactions. I haven't seen too much of how the store is going to work yet. There are 4 different kind of reward systems going on here. We have a level-based reward. I'll get a reward based off of gaining levels, a daily, a timed, and then a achievement or quest-based. You can see when you're available for one by having a blink. Those guys are over there. If you have codes that you've earned, you can go ahead and get bonuses that way. The skill system's a little bit different than World of Warcraft and other games. You're not going to have just hotbars full of abilities. You are going to only have 6, and you'll see how to equip them later. Also, they'll have some passive abilities. I'll have a mount, which I can do later. There didn't seem to be too much gained from leveling up. I didn't see a talent tree, and I didn't see a skill system to gain stat points. But you do gain skills as you gain levels, so I can unlock new abilities as I go. You really don't choose them like in certain games. You do just kind of, as I gain a level, another skill unlocks. Don't have to go to a trainer or buy it or anything like that. One thing is, this is in beta. You'll see sometimes I'm actually testing out the animations, and it looks like jumping is a little bit wonky. In this closed beta, there are things like there's a button for getting stuck in terrain, so there's obviously going to be issues, but other than the jumping, I didn't see too much that was all that hard to deal with. For the graphics, this is set to high. Only thing I could have done higher was shadows and grass, so the shadows are on just a little bit below high, so you can see they are a little bit pixely. But for the most part, the terrain does look really nice, and I will say there are a lot of cutscenes. Early on, there are a lot of cutscenes, and they're not skippable yet. It's part of the beta. You see there's a tooltip for how to skip them, just not available yet. Alright, let's look at a little bit of combat finally. So one thing you can do is I can go ahead and open the quest log, click on an item that is linked right there, and it'll do auto tracking. There is a mount system in the game, and you can unlock mount and actually give them gear eventually. When you do unlock the mount, it'll be on the bottom right, it'll be on the right of your quick bar. I don't have mine quite yet. I'm going to my first dungeon. This is going to be a solo dungeon, so it's not everything is going to be grouped like traditional MMOs. Now that I'm inside, and yes, I did have to zone in to get in here, I can go through. There is going to be a quest indicator telling me where to go eventually. Guys did seem to spawn on me like that, although they were on the minimap, there was a red dot there. So right now I have 3 basic abilities. I have my spammable attack, I have a lightning with a pretty long cooldown, and then point blank area effect dot. It also has a cooldown. As I go, I'll unlock more abilities. Right now, those are my only 3. Again, I can double tap to dodge. Looks like there were traps in here. I attacked a trap. I'm gonna go and just spam my attack on this guy. This guy's pretty easy. I mean, this is basically one of the first kills in the game, so obviously the combat's gonna be pretty easy. It did feel a lot like the quests in the early game were very fetchy. I would be told to go somewhere, do one thing, and then come back. Most MMOs have that kind of fetch quest feel to them. This one, at low level, felt particularly like that. It felt like I was kind of being an errand boy. This dungeon is the first experience where I felt like I actually had to go and do something. This is the boss. He's a little bit harder. You can see it told me to double tap A to dodge out of that attack. So there we go, I dodged it. Looks like he finished off right there. Got some loot, including some boots. Yeah. It does use an interact button, so F is the default. You can probably rebind it. The options menu was actually pretty extensive. It also had separate audio sliders, so there's actually a good amount of options available in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and loot the chest at the end of the dungeon. Looting chests always nice, means that everyone in the dungeon gets some sort of reward. It's always welcome to see that. And then I'll zone out, go turn my quest in, and just keep on going. The quests are set up into story like plots, where each different kind of story plot will be finished, and they'll give you different rewards. The story at this point, it involves a lot of cutscenes. There's no voice acting yet. I don't know if there's plans for it or not. But if you like a little bit more of a story focus than some MMOs, this one seems to have a little bit more than some. Probably not going to be to the level of Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, that game is really cost a lot of money to produce. If you like the game, check it out. It's available for free, currently in beta. Go look and see if you can get yourself a code, or just wait for the open beta. If you like the content, stay tuned to more from MMO Play. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go get my mouth.